What's up, everybody? TonyPizzaGuy here, back with the Slam. This is your source for WWE news. Now, I'll be taking over for Ango right now. Ango's going to come back. He's got some stuff going on with his personal life and work. It's nothing major, but I'm just going to take this over because I don't want to miss any of the big news that's happening in WWE. So you'll see me on here. You'll see Ango on here. There might be a format change as this Slam progresses and gets better and better and better. This is ultimately Ango's show, but there's so much news coming in that I thought I'd come in and help him out a little bit and kind of continue on with some of the news. So today we have some big news for you. You probably know by the title. It's going to be talking about 205 Live and the future of that division. Now, if you have noticed, you've been watching, they actually got a GM, which is Rockstar Spud from TNA Wrestling. Now, he doesn't have the Rockstar Spud name. He's actually under the name Drake Maverick. And the reason for this is because Shinsuke Nakamura is now known as the Rockstar in SmackDown and in the WWE. They call him the Rockstar Shinsuke Nakamura. So instead of having two rock stars with Rockstar Spud, they came up with Drake Maverick, and I think it's also just to WWE his name and kind of go forward there. So they have a GM, and they're doing a Cruiserweight Championship tournament. Now, there's been a lot of questions going on because we're wondering what is like the future of 205 Live, what's going to go on. Well, we have a lot of news coming in from PW Insider, and they are reporting a bunch of stuff about 205 Live. Now, it has been notably reported that Vince McMahon is stepped aside and is now being overseen by Triple H, because we know that Vince McMahon was the main guy behind 205 Live, making sure that it ran smoothly and all that. But now Triple H is coming in. He's going to be the head honcho for 205 Live. And this is very, very good, because if his track record from NXT is any indication, we're going to see some awesome stuff on 205 Live. Now, there's some more reports coming up here. Vince McMahon steps aside 2 weeks ago and handing control over the show to Triple H. The last 2 weeks of 205 Live have been run more like an NXT taping, with Triple H and being the alpha and omega when it comes to decision making. So like I just said, Triple H is running it. It's run more like NXT, and that's probably why we're seeing some of the NXT talent on there. The vision of the last 2 weeks has been more online with the original plans for 205 Live, was before Vince McMahon had decided to get personally hands-on with the product. So this is what the original vision of 205 Live was going to be. And now that Vince has kind of stepped aside, Triple H can come in and get that vision. Triple H has been bringing back many of the hallmarks and the traits of the Cruiserweight Classic to help 205 Live feel like something other than just another hour of WWE television. This includes in-ring style and presentation. That is awesome news to hear, because one of the biggest things that I had, and I actually did a video on it, is what's wrong with 205 Live in the Cruiserweight division. And we could tell that it was a Vince McMahon decision, and now it's back into Triple H's hands, and he wants to make it more like the Cruiserweight Classic, which I'm all for, and I think is an awesome idea here. He did say that Vince McMahon has been pushing 205 Live to have more character-driven. That's why Enzo was moved to the division, and he was a central fixture before he was released. So Vince wanted more characters, and Triple H, I think, wants more of the wrestlers and, you know, that NXT style. The lead writer for 205 Live is Jonathan Beckstrom, I guess is how you pronounce it. Beckstrom, something like that. Beckstrom has been with WWE's creative since 2013, working as a lead writer since August of 2016. Now, there is no current plan to take 205 Live back on the road. We know that they did have some live events for 205 Live, but right now there's currently no plan to do that. The plan right now is to build up the brand by building the competitors and their in-ring style before considering another experimental live event run. Now, I don't say the live event run was a failure. I think that it was great for them to try it out and just see what they could do with it, and if it worked and if it didn't. That's kind of what I like about 205 Live and the experimental process for it. Roderick Strong was brought up from NXT specifically to freshen up the 205 Live roster. There may be other talent calls up from NXT to join the 205 Live roster. And this is one of the things that I really like about it, because when I saw the 205 Live Cruiserweight Championship tournament, and they actually brought in Tyler Bate to be in there, and I thought, what, if he can win it, that would be awesome. But he didn't win. He just was in there to help put over 205 Live. And then we had Roderick Strong come in, and I was like, there's no way Roderick Strong's gonna win. Well, he did win it. And now we're wondering what the direction of 205 Live is with these NXT call-ups. I think that's perfect for Roderick Strong, because let's be honest, in NXT, he was kind of floundering. He kind of never reached a point past like this underdog character in NXT. And I don't think there was really any clear direction for him on NXT. So to put him in 205 Live and to have him in this Cruiserweight Championship match, I think is perfect for him. I think you keep him on 205 Live, you keep him in that division, you keep him like very, very, very prevalent on that show, make him a big name. And I think that would be wonderful for him. And I think it'd just be amazing. Now, next week, we have another UK tournament. Mark Andrews is going to be in the Cruiserweight Championship match next week. He's going to take on Akira Tozawa. And if he can win, I think they should put him over. I know Akira Tozawa's got that awesome thing where he's going around, if I beat you, then you're fired, which is funny because he just wanted to be the GM of 205 Live, and now they're just running with this like Vince McMahon parody character. So I think that's really awesome, and I think that if they can continue something cool like that with Akira Tozawa, I'd be good with it. But I do think that Mark Andrews should get a win. I think they need to have more unexpected stuff here. I know that a lot of people are like, Hideo Itami just came up and he just lost to Roderick Strong. Well, I mean, that's the way that it crumbles down. Honestly, with this Cruiserweight Championship, Drake Maverick being the GM and all the stuff that's going down, I'm really looking forward to 205 Live. I really am. I think that this is the best that it's got so far. I really like the Cruiserweight Classic. And now knowing that Triple H has stepped in, he's going to be taking over 205 Live. He's going to make sure that everything runs smoothly. He's going to run it more like NXT. That's exactly what I want to see. I want to see 205 Live be more like NXT, more like the Cruiserweight Classic, because that stuff was awesome. NXT is probably at one of its highest points of all time right now. I will say that. Even back to the days when like Kevin Owens was down there and Finn Balor were down there, I still think this might be even bigger than that, and NXT might be even better than that. I mean, Andrade Cien Almas and Johnny Gargano, they had a 5-star match in NXT. Like, I don't think that's happened in a long, long while, and I'm super excited for the future of NXT. But this video is not about NXT. This is about 205 Live. And when I tuned in to find out who the GM of 205 Live was, I realized there was kind of a little change here. I feel like things are feeling very, very good. And I really did like last night's segment with Tony Nese and Drew Gulak. Drake Maverick came up to him and said, "You guys were awesome. You were like, Drew Gulak, you were one of the greatest grapplers of all time in 205 Live. And Tony Nese, you're one of the most gifted athletes in all of professional wrestling, but now you've just become jokes. You know what? You're going to face each other in the next round of the tournament and see who's going to go on for the Cruiserweight Championship," which I think is great. Ultimately, I think this is going to lead to something very, very good. I think putting a GM on there makes it, give it a little bit more credit, makes it seem more of like its own show and its own brand, gives its own identity, which I really, really, really like. And I do like that Drake Maverick is in there because I think he's a great character. Rockstar Spud is an awesome character. Whether he's going to wrestle or not, we'll have to wait and see on that. But I do think there is room for him to wrestle if they want to have him wrestle. What I will say is that I think if they're going to go the way they're going to go, it's going to come out that Cedric Alexander is probably going to win the Cruiserweight Championship if they're going to go for the original plan, because I think that they were going to have Enzo and Cedric, and then Cedric was going to beat Enzo and become the champion. That's just my opinion. But if they don't do that, if they don't have Cedric Alexander go on and win it, I think you need a guy like Roderick Strong or even Mark Andrews if he wants to win it. Just somebody that's different that they can build the brand around. That's been in NXT for a while. He's built a name there, and I think it would be great. I mean, I don't have anything against Cedric Alexander. I just think that Roderick Strong, he's built a great name in NXT. He's a great independent wrestler, and I feel like he came to WWE and he never really got past that level of being an underdog. And if he could win this, I feel like that would be just an amazing moment for him, in the fact that it would get him past that plateau that he was really at. So anyway, I am super excited for the future of 205 Live. I really want to see this company flourish and grow it what it was with the Cruiserweight Classic. And I like the idea of them bringing some of the UK guys in and doing that. I mean, even if you wanted to move the UK guys over to 205 Live, I would even be okay with that. Just because I really like a lot of those guys and I want to see them on there and I want to see them perform. And I want to see them do their craft and do their thing. And that's the thing about 205 Live that I'm super excited about, is that we're seeing guys like Roderick Strong, who I think, you know what, really does, what has he got going on in NXT right now? What does he have going on in NXT? Not a lot. So you bring him up, you let him do his stuff on 205 Live, great for him. Now, he's not that cruiserweight style, but who's to say what that cruiserweight style is per se? I mean, a guy like Dean Malenko wasn't really like a super high flyer, but he was awesome in the cruiserweight division. And now that we have Roderick Strong in there, the king of the backbreakers. You've seen him do a million of them on NXT, and now we're doing it in 205 Live. So I think it's just great. If they want to go with Cedric to win the whole tournament, go on and do his thing. I'm fine with that. But honestly, if you don't watch 205 Live, now would be a perfect time to tune in. Watch the last 2 episodes with Drake Maverick coming out, announcing the new GM of the show, announcing the Cruiserweight Championship tournament. The match is going to lead up till WrestleMania, where there will be a match at WrestleMania. Hopefully they can do this at minimum. Give them a match on the main card. Don't make it a pre-show match. Please give the Cruiserweight Championship a match on the main card, because that will give it some credit and some notoriety and some value to 205 Live. That's the problem with it, is they've made it like a pre-show type thing, and it hasn't been the greatest. You need to focus on it. If you're going to build it as a brand, at least give it a card, a match next to the Intercontinental Championship, next to the U.S. title. Make it as prevalent as that. Make it as important as that. I think it would do wonders. Anyway, I think we're in good hands now with Triple H taking over. I think there's going to be a lot of major changes with Vince leaving and now Triple H taking over. He's been the NXT god, you know, as we've been saying. He knows what's best for business, and he's been doing a good job in NXT, so hopefully he can do a good job in 205 Live. Anyway, guys, that's where we're going to end today's video. Let me know what you think. Use the hashtag #TheSlam on Twitter if you want to let me know your thoughts. If you have any news, send it over there. With that, I think 205 Live is in a great spot. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you agree or disagree, hit that like button if you enjoy this type of content. And as always, I'm TonyPizzaGuy, and we'll see you in another video.